I killed my father and my stepmother and spent 14 years in a place that eats men alive. Everyone here calls me Junior. That is not my real name. And by the end of this confession, you will understand why I still hide it. I was born in Accra, raised in a house on the outskirts where everyone knew everyone, and where reputation mattered more than truth ever did. I went abroad for school when I was young and came back with a foreign accent and slid straight into the family business like it was owned to me. My mother died when I was just 12. I don't remember much about the grief because a child's grief gets swallowed by a house that kept moving. My father remarried fast, too fast. If you ask people who still whisper about it, I was young, so I don't carry many memories of it before. I got married in 2007. It lasted just less than a year. OJ, cut short by things I'm about to tell you, the things that ended everything. In 2008, I was arrested for murdering my father and my stepmother. Say it slow, OJ. Murder. Both of them in the same house I grew up in. My father's side of the family never forgave me. Some still send money when they feel guilty. Most don't. I understand it. I would hate myself too. There was a lot buried in me before that night. Resentments about the remarriage, about being replaced in my own home, about being made to feel like a guest. I wish I could turn back the clock, OJ, but no man can. I paid with my years. Whether that's enough, I still don't know, and I won't pretend I do. They arrested me at home not long after it happened. No drama, no chase. I sat in the house until the police came, and I let them take me. Back then, capital charges meant no bail, no bond, nothing. I spent almost 2 years in remand before my case even reached a verdict. I was convicted, sentenced to death. I lived under that sentence for close to 8 years before it was reduced to life imprisonment. Later, a legal window opened, a brief reform under a different administration, and my life sentence became a fixed term, just over 13 years, all counted. Prison is not for soft men, OJ. I'm lucky I made it out breathing, especially as someone who didn't fit the mold of who usually ends up inside. I didn't speak tree. I didn't speak tree well when I went in. I picked it up cell by cell from men who had nothing else to teach me but their language. Most inmates don't speak clean tree either. Everyone mixed it in Ga, Ewe, Hausa, whatever their hometown gave them. You learn 5 dialects just trying to survive lunch. I was bullied early, mostly by officers, not inmates. They saw my skin, assumed money, and treated me like a walking cash machine from the first week. They didn't know my family had already washed their hands off me. Rich name, empty pockets. That's a dangerous combination to carry inside those walls. Once I understood I wasn't working out soon, I stopped hoping and started adapting. I fell in with men running phone scams from inside the prison itself. You watch one man work the phone, then another. Eventually you pick it up too, and you build your own version, your own voice, your own lie. I started in 2009. In the beginning, it was just calling family, small amounts of food, cigarettes, the little comforts that made a cell survive. I've smoked since I was 17. Family spends money for a while, then it slows. then it stops. People get tired of a mouth that only asks. One day, a man in my blog asked if I wanted to make real money. I said sure, not knowing what I was walking into. He handed me a script and a number. My accent didn't sound local, so he wanted me to play a foreigner, a professional, someone people would trust immediately. The first call earned me an equivalent of 1,000 cedis. I never went back to that tired story about mobile network refund. Everyone already knew that one. I built my own character instead, a doctor, working somewhere remote up north, stranded, needing help. It sounded real because I made it sound expensive. I only targeted people with money. OJ, once I scammed someone who clearly had nothing, and the way she spoke to me afterwards woke something up inside of me. I sent that money back. From then on, I promised myself I would only take people who wouldn't feel it. MPs, businessmen, doctors, lawyers, never the roadside seller. My biggest hit was a sitting MP. Millions of cedis built slowly over weeks with patience most young scammers don't have the discipline for. The story always started small. Car broke down up country. No fuel. No network for a card payment. Could you send something small first, just to move? Once they send the first amount, you escalate carefully. Read how fast they respond, how much they trust you, and shape the next ask around that trust. If it's an MP, tell them you've been caught up with something valuable and need it released quietly. Politicians here understand quiet money better than anyone. I found certain communities easier to work because they shared my background and my accent gave me instant credibility inside those calls. If the mark was a wealthy man, I became a woman in distress instead. I had photos ready, a car, a face, a story that matched the voice. People ask how I did it. You don't rush anyone. OJ, you talk like a normal person first, not agency, no begging, just conversations day after day. I would stay on a target for months, sometimes 2 months, sending small messages, disappearing for days at a time, letting them wonder and worry more about me. When I came back online, there would be hundreds of messages waiting. Those were the men I knew would eventually pay whatever I asked without much resistance. I never opened with demand. I opened with something ordinary, wishing a stranger happy birthday, pretending someone had given me their number on their date. You build trust before you ever mention money. Rash scammers get blocked in a day. Patient ones get paid for months before anyone notices anything wrong. I used to wonder why some networks abroad are better at this than we are. They invest first, spend their own money to look convincing before asking for anything. I did the same. I would load heavier airtime at peak hours so a Mac could see I was already comfortable, already someone worth trusting with bigger numbers. Calls were expensive here a decade ago. Every CD I spent proving I was worthy became tenfold once the real money started moving through. After my appeal was denied in 2012, something inside me gave up trying to live carefully. I already had money from the calls, so I spent on numbing myself. I smoked whatever was available before me. After the appeal, I moved to cocaine and heroin, both easy to find inside if you knew which officer to ask. None of it was cheap, OJ. Most of what I stole from those phone calls went straight into powder and needles, not into my plan for the future. Everyone had a phone inside if they wanted one badly enough. Some officers refused to smuggle them. Others simply named their price and looked the other way. Money moves everything in there. You learn who takes bribe easily, who wants too much, who smuggles phones, who smuggles drugs, who smuggles nothing at all. I got good at reading men from across a yard. Who wanted advice? Who wanted money? Who wanted trouble? It's not a skill that serves you outside those walls. Even taxi drivers used to try charging me double once I was out, assuming I didn't know local prices. I stopped that fast once I noticed the pattern. It's not really about the money at that point. It's about refusing to be treated as someone who doesn't understand his own environment anymore. Early in my sentence, a man offered me money for something else entirely, but I refused. We ended up becoming close friends, strange as that sounds to outsiders. Everyone inside had a hole where the stolen money disappeared. Drugs, your companions, girlfriends waiting outside, something that swallowed cash faster than it arrived. There is a nickname some men used for the places, comparing it to a city of endless money and endless waste, because so much moved through with nothing to show. I had a lawyer only put up until my appeal was rejected. After that, I represented myself, which I now believed was the biggest mistake of my entire process. If I had fought the case properly from day one, with real counsel, I don't think I would have been convicted the way I was. When you're arrested, everything on the other side becomes second-hand information. Family tells you they are handling things. You have no way to confirm anything they say is true. You just believe them because there's no other choice inside those walls. Looking back now, OJ, I don't think they ever tried the way they claimed. The only people who stayed beside a man in that situation are the ones who loved him before the crime. And even that, it isn't guaranteed. OJ. Cigarettes inside could cost 10 times the street price. Out here, years later, they are still cheap. That contrast still messes with my head sometimes. The first week out, everything felt like adrenaline. I wanted to eat everything, drink everything, feel everything I had been denied for over decades straight. 10 days later, reality showed up uninvited. You need a job, but a record like mine closes every door before you finish the sentence explaining yourself. I tried trading online for a while. It didn't cover rent most months, so I let go before it swallowed what little I had left. Now I do small contents, videos here and there, using bits of medical knowledge I picked from a relative and the rest from searching online. If someone describes a symptom, I'll research it properly and answer like a professional. That habit from the scam years ago never really left me. I made new friends after release. The moment they learned about the conviction, most of them disappeared quietly, without confrontation, without explanation, just gone. That's fine, OJ. I understand it. People protect themselves. I would probably do the same if I were standing where they were standing, looking at me. The only person who never left is the woman I am with now. Everything I have today runs through her patience more than through anything I've built myself. If I ever sat across from someone in power, I would ask some softer prison food or softer sentence. Common sense should already tell them what's broken. I started a small channel recently, mostly crime stories, a bit of comedy, some clips of my cats. It felt easier to build an audience there first. I still trade a little, still unstable, still unreliable. Most months, honestly, it's their income that keeps the light on and the food on the table. There's a section inside reserved for wealthier inmates. Better food, sports, small comforts most men never see. I stayed there over a year after trying to end my life. That's the kind of treatment every man inside deserves. Not because they are innocent, but because dignity shouldn't disappear the moment a court decides the fate. To anyone thinking about crossing that line, I crossed. Avoid it if you can. It doesn't end the way you imagine, sitting outside the walls, looking inside. I am not saying I was innocent in any of it, Oye. I am saying I learned everything the hardest way a person can learn anything in this life. I don't ask you to feel sorry for me. I ask you to understand that some of us don't get to become better men. Some of us just get to keep going. And I still think about the house sometimes. The one my father built, the one where everything ended before I even understood what I was capable of doing. There is no clean ending here, OJ. I served the time. I lost the family. I lost the friends. And I am still the same man who did what he did. I don't chase forgiveness anymore. I stopped expecting it somewhere around 9 years, sitting in a cell that didn't care whether I ever changed at all. Some nights I still hear that house, not the crime itself, just the silence after it. That kind that never really leaves a man alone. That's my confession, OJ. Not a warning, not a lesson. Just what happened to a man who had everything and burnt it down with his own hands. This is your anonymous OJ, and if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel. And tell somebody about your anonymous OJ. I'll see you in our next confession.